The Great Freedom March, which commenced on the 1st of February, aimed at securing the physical freedom of Abdullah Öcalan, leader of the Kurdistan Workers' Party or PKK, concluded its 15-day journey on Thursday. In marking the 25th anniversary of Abdullah Öcalan's capture, international media have intensified their focus on the solitary confinement of the PKK leader in Turkey. Turkish President Erdogan has sharpened his country's recently heightened threats against the Patriotic Union of Kurdistan in Iraq, accusing it of harboring militants and exacerbating regional instability. Israeli special forces conducted a raid on Gaza's largest functioning hospital on Thursday, resulting in power cuts and the deaths of 5 patients due to limited oxygen supplies. Learn more with Media News. The Great Freedom March reached its final destination in the Halfeti district of Turkey's southeastern Kurdish-majority Urfa province on Thursday the 15th of February, marking both the 25th anniversary of the capture of the PKK leader Abdullah Öcalan and the culmination of a 15-day journey to champion the cause of Kurdish rights and the release of Öcalan. The march, initiated on the 1st of February, aimed to highlight the Kurdish issue and call for Öcalan's physical freedom as a step towards a democratic solution. Democratic Regions Party co-chair Jigdam Kılıçgun Ucar said, "This march is not only for those who walked, but represents the movement of millions. We will continue to fight until Mr. Öcalan's voice reaches everyone and the Kurdish issue is resolved." On the same day, actions demanding Öcalan's release took place in different parts of the world. The people in north and east Syria demanded the freedom of Öcalan in several cities, including Amud, Til Tamir and Minbij. In Switzerland, members of the democratic Kurdish community have held a vigil outside the UN headquarters in Geneva since January 2021. Protesters denounced the isolation on Imrali Island, Turkish military operations in northern Syria and Iraqi Kurdistan, and the UN's silence on these matters. Global media outlets, including Spain's Gara newspaper, Australia's Sydney Morning Herald, France's AFP and TV 5 Monde, and Belgium's VRT News, have collectively shone a spotlight on the 25-year solitary confinement of Kurdistan Workers' Party or PKK leader Abdullah Öcalan in Turkey. Gara published an extensive interview with Öcalan's lawyer, Ibrahim Bilmez, emphasizing their legal battle and Öcalan's influential ideology. The Sydney Morning Herald featured an ad advocating for Öcalan's release, drawing attention to the Kurdish struggle for freedom. AFP and TV 5 Monde reported on the 12-year vigil in Strasbourg, highlighting the Kurdish community's persistent call for peace and Öcalan's liberation. VRT News reflected on Öcalan's enduring legacy, likening him to the Kurdish Mandela and his vision for a democratic Turkey, despite the ongoing regional conflict and his controversial status. The campaign for Öcalan's freedom and Kurdish peace has attracted global intellectuals, including Uruguay's Raul Zebechi, who compared Öcalan's resistance to that of Bolivian revolutionary Tupac Katari, highlighting their shared fight against oppression and pursuit of dignity for their people. Turkish President Erdogan has stepped up his country's threats against the Patriotic Union of Kurdistan or PUK in Iraq, issuing a new warning on Thursday for the group's alleged support of the PKK, the People's Protection Units, and the Democratic Union Party. Erdogan's latest outburst is set against a backdrop of Turkey's contentious military forays and extrajudicial killings in the Kurdistan region of Iraq, actions that have been widely condemned for destabilizing the region, causing losses to Kurdish forces battling ISIS and leading to civilian casualties. Speaking to journalists on a return flight from Egypt, where he softened his previous stance against Egyptian President Sisi, Erdogan praised the advances in relations with Erbil, but sharply criticized the PUK administration in Suleimania for its alleged inaction against these groups, despite Turkey's repeated warnings and the prolonged suspension of flights. Highlighting the dichotomy between the Kurdistan Democratic Party and the PUK, with the former portrayed as a cooperative partner and the latter as a problematic entity, Turkey's involvement in Iraqi Kurdistan's politics has become increasingly evident. Israeli special forces raided Gaza's Nasser hospital, the largest functioning medical facility in the region, on Thursday. The raid, which followed a days-long siege, resulted in power cuts and the deaths of 5 patients due to limited oxygen supplies, according to Gaza's Ministry of Health. Amid international concern and criticism, the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, defended the operation, claiming it was intelligence-led and aimed at arresting suspected Hamas members and recovering the bodies of deceased hostages allegedly being held in the hospital. Hamas, however, rejected these claims and distanced itself from the activities inside the medical facility. In the meantime, hospital staff have been forced to pass through military checkpoints with reports of detentions. Further controversy arose on Friday when Israeli forces carried out more arrests inside the hospital compound, alleging that the detainees were involved in Hamas-led attacks against Israel. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization, or WHO, continues to actively seek to access the besieged hospital. In order to continue providing essential services to trapped civilians and patients, the WHO stresses the urgent need for medical supplies and fuel. The Gaza Health Ministry claims in the past 24 hours, 112 Palestinians were killed and 157 wounded.